Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, I rise today to talk a little bit about redistricting because it seems that that is the next item that will be on our agenda in the next coming months or so. The public continues to ask many questions about the process of redistricting, and although the census data was delivered some time ago, and there have been several public hearings prior to the census data being delivered, the public nor this side of the aisle has not heard very much information about the process that the majority party intends to use here to do the redistricting, either in the Privileges and Elections Committee or in the House as a whole. Mr. Speaker, I understand there was some discussions in P&E last week and some questions raised that were very nicely answered by folks on the committee. And it might be useful at some point for members of the committee to tell the body a little bit more about what the plans are going to be. Key to this process will be its transparency, and to that end I want to raise several questions that I hope members can think about, and to the extent that members have information they can share with the body as a whole. First, question number one, 10 years ago there were 3 separate bills on redistricting, one which dealt with the redistricting of the House, one which dealt with the redistricting of the Senate, and one which dealt with the congressional districts. I'd be interested to know, and I think the public would, about whether it's the intention for there to be 3 separate bills this time or whether they might be rolled into one bill. Secondly, some questions have been asked about the timeline for the process. When will it begin and how will it unfold? Will there be deadlines for submission of bills? And will the bills go directly to a full committee of P&E, or will they be reviewed in subcommittee first? Third, what kind of public input will be solicited after bills have been filed? Will this public input occur just during subcommittee and committee meetings, or will there be public hearings in other parts of the state so that the public can comment on plans that are actually proposed as they are unveiled? Fourth, what role will the Governor's Advisory Commission on Redistricting play in the process? Will the Privileges and Elections Committee directly seek their input on a bill or bills, and how will it be solicited? Related to this are the other groups that are out there who are competing to draw lines, some of the student university groups and perhaps others. Public input in this process cannot be overemphasized, and to ensure that the process is fair and transparent for Virginians. Fifth, 10 years ago, the P&E Committee worked off a resolution which set forth various criteria for drawing the lines. Since the criteria are very important, the question is, how will the resolution be drafted? Will it come before the House as a whole for approval? And if so, when will this occur? On what basis will the criteria in the resolution be determined? How will members of the body weigh in and comment on the content of the resolution? Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, these are but a few of the questions that are being asked now about the redistricting process, and it would be very helpful both to the body and to the public to have these questions answered sooner rather than later. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for your time.
Gentleman from Suffolk, Mr. Jones.
Speaker, point of personal privilege.
Gentleman may proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I'd say to the gentleman from Charlottesville, I got a couple of answers to his questions. Last night, I think I can say, Mr. Speaker, that the House leadership met with the Senate leadership, and that we're trying to figure out what the best course of action would be for the membership of both bodies as we begin the process of redistricting. Let me see, you had about 5 or 6 questions. I won't answer each and every one of them, I guess, in the order in which you presented them. But it would be my hope that what we would have are bills that would be introduced prior to coming back for the special session. There would be ample opportunity for the public to have input, that there would be public hearings across the Commonwealth, and that would allow the public an opportunity to comment on plans that are before the committees of P&E in both chambers. Public input is very important. Stated last year and again this year that we want to have as much public input as possible, and I believe that's what you saw when Chairman Cole and Chairman Howe last year had we had public hearings across the Commonwealth. While they were separate, we jointly decided to have public hearings, I guess is the best way to phrase it. This Wednesday, as chairman of the Joint Reapportionment Committee, I have asked for a meeting at 10 a.m. I don't know which house room it's going to be in, but every member of the Assembly is invited, and it should probably last about 45 minutes to an hour. And at the end of that presentation by staff, there will be an opportunity for the public to comment. Included in that presentation will be the census data that has been received, a breakdown of that data, how it applies to the current and existing districts, and what the process will be for public input from here until we would take those respective bills up in April. The Governor's Independent Redistricting Commission would be like any other, plan that might be presented. As a body, we would want to receive public input from all. I know there's a college contest that's going on right now, and I'm sure there are other interested people who would like to bring plans forth to the body for consideration. So I would just say to the gentleman that a lot of thought has been given to this. We have tried to not alarm the body as to what their schedule might be of not knowing when they would come back and when they would have to be here. But the one thing I can tell the gentleman and the rest of this body is that we're going to avoid the week of the 18th of April. That is the week of Easter. We felt like that was a week that we should avoid. And it would be our hope that we would take a similar quote-unquote approach as we did last time to consider the bill around reconvened session. As to whether we do the congressional at the same time, my guess is that there will be separate bills that would be generated by both bodies with regards to their individual plans, and we'll just go from there. But we have no control over what the Senate does, and nor do they have any control over what we would do. But I would thank the gentleman for the questions that he posed to the body today, and we look forward to having a further conversation as to the schedule of events, because I would say to him, I am just like the rest of you. I have a life outside of this body, and we would like to have a schedule that works best for all of us. Mr. Speaker, I thank the body for their time.